Hello, Ellie here with my sidekick, Dabby, and it is September, which means it is time for my August wrap-up. Now, if you remember in my combined June and July wrap-up, I talked about how I was in a really big reading slump this summer, but I finally came out of it at the end. Yeah, no, I didn't. I had like a quick time out, and then I fell right back in. So, August, I kind of failed again. As normal, I will go through these books, or in this case, more like book, in the order that I finished them. Because I read so little this month, I'm also going to talk a bit about what I'm excited about in September. At the very beginning of August, I finished listening to the audiobook Just Listen by Sarah Dessen. I really enjoyed this one. It is about a girl named Annabelle who is known as the girl that has everything because she has a little bit of a modeling career, and the previous year she was in a modeling campaign playing the girl that has everything, and that commercial has been running and she's starting to be kind of recognized by that. However, she doesn't feel like that girl anymore because at the very end of the last school year / beginning of the summer, she got in a huge fight with her best friend. Her best friend thought that she slept with her boyfriend, but she didn't, and they had a huge falling out and none of her friends are friends with her anymore. So she is starting her new school year in a completely different mindset than she ever has in the past, and she needs to figure out how to move on from that. One person that might help her is Owen, who has kind of always been a loner. He got in some trouble a few years ago and has been staying pretty low-key since then, but as they connect, she starts to see that maybe he's just what she needs to kind of get through this year. And then obviously a whole bunch of other things happened. I really like this one. I gave it 4 stars, like pretty much all of Sarah Dessen's books, but this one was definitely up there. Next up was another audiobook because I still wasn't really reading this month. This one was Dreamland by Sarah Dessen, and it's actually the last Sarah Dessen book I think I'm going to be talking about for a little while. This one I didn't love. It was extremely different than most of Sarah Dessen's other books. This one is about a girl named Caitlin whose sister just picked up and left. She was supposed to be going to college soon, but instead she ran away with her boyfriend and isn't even talking to the family. And Caitlin, who has followed in her sister's shoes all of these years, wants to do something different. So when she's supposed to meet this guy and go steady with him, she meets this more mysterious guy instead and goes with him instead. Their relationship kind of takes a dark turn, and like I said, this one is very different than most of Sarah Dessen's books. It's much darker. It gets really dark, really emotional, and tough to read at times, but I do mean that in a good way. I think if I had kind of been more ready for it, I would have enjoyed this book a lot more, but because most of Sarah Dessen's books are my like happy, listening in the car, don't worry about wearing makeup while I'm reading type of books, it kind of just threw me off. You definitely need to be ready for some pain with this one, and that's all I'm gonna say, because you should read it. It was really good. Just know that it's more painful than a lot of Sarah Dessen's other books. Next up, I read an arc of Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. I do have a book talk for this one. I gave this 4.5 stars, but I did round up to 5. This book was so good. The half a point I took off was because it did take me 3 weeks to get into it, hence why it's pretty much the only physical book I finished in August. Once I did get into it, it was really good. It took me 3 weeks to read the first 100 pages and then 2 or 3 days to read the last 260 pages. Once I got into it, I really liked it. I'm not a huge superhero fan, which I think is part of the problem, but it was good enough that I rounded up to 5 stars. So it was really good. It's about Wonder Woman before she's Wonder Woman. She is a teenager who needs to decide if saving a girl and perhaps the world is worth possibly throwing away the life she has always known. It was Leigh Bardugo with great characters, twists and turns that you don't see coming. It was phenomenal. Read it. Unfortunately, that was it for the books that I finished in August. I have one more audiobook that I started and one more book that I started that I will now talk about. I started Replica by Lauren Oliver, and this one was such a long time coming. I am such a Lauren Oliver fan, and I don't know what took me so long to pick this one up. At first, I think I was just overwhelmed by the fact that you could read it so many different ways, and I didn't know which way I wanted to read it. It also didn't get the best reviews, but I ended up finding it in audiobook form from the library, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go for it, and whichever way they recorded it and have it for me to read, I'm gonna read it, and then that takes the pressure off me deciding. So in case you're curious, the audiobook, at least the one I have, starts with Lyra's story straight through. I think I'm about 2/3 of the way through Lyra's story, and then I'm gonna go into Gemma's story. So far I'm liking it. I'll talk about that more in my September wrap-up. The other book that I got this month that I started reading, but I didn't finish in August, The Dazzling Heights by Catherine Mickey. This is only the second time I am doing a book talk for a sequel of a book that I've already done a book talk of. Crazy. I did finish this today, so I'm actually going to record my book talk for this one right after I finish this video. So look for that. This book is great. I think I'm going to talk a little bit more about it in my September wrap-up because I'm kind of cheating because I finished it in September. So I'll talk about that more at the end of this upcoming month. And I'll talk about it in my book talk, which I'm going to record in about 10 minutes. Unfortunately, that is it for this month's books, but like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit about what is upcoming in September because September is going to be a crazy month, and I don't have room for slumping anymore, even though I did like one video in the entire summer, which is awful. I did have my Warbringer video a few days ago. I'm going to have this video. I'm about to record a Dazzling Heights video. My Warcross video is going to go up on Tuesday, which I've already recorded. Some more books coming out that I plan to do videos for. Also coming out on Tuesday is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas, which I really wish it was the last Throne of Glass book instead, because I don't care about Chaol, and if you've been reading this series, you know why I just want to know what is going on with the characters that I do care about, even though I know that I'm going to love Chaol by the end of this book because Sarah J. Maas is evil and messes with my emotions. But so I know I'm going to eat these words as soon as I read that book, but right now, I just want to skip it. I'm not going to, but I want to. Jane Unlimited comes out on September 19th. I'm hoping I get a chance to read that one and do a video for it before then. I have had it since June, and I was planning to read it over the summer, but I planned to do a lot over the summer, and I didn't do any of it. So, sorry, but I'm hoping to get that out on September 19th. But again, if I'm not done with Tower of Dawn first, I'm doing that first. And on September 26th is There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins, and this is one that I have a like half arc to, so I'm not going to be able to do a video ahead of time for that one because I need to read the whole book before I do my video. So I'll read that and get that out as soon as possible because I love me some Stephanie Perkins, and she has not written anything in a really long time, so I'm really excited, even though it's like a thriller and that scares me a little, but I think I'll be okay. It's Stephanie Perkins. We'll see. So yeah, I believe there are some other things coming out in September, but they're not on my list right now. I know there's a lot coming out in October too, so I'm hoping that from here on out, I'm posting more regularly and I'm staying out of a slump, and I don't know, I'm excited for things to come. I'm so behind on books right now, guys. I have so much to read, but school's starting again, and I'm the type of person that the more I have to do, the more I get done. So here's to hoping my reading picks up again. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking up here, and I will talk to you next time. Goodbye! Hey, Ellie and Dobby here. Like the video? Come subscribe. Do it right now. Click it.